On August the 29th, 2022, Larry King and Rita Pangalangan placed their 13-year-old disabled daughter Christina into their car at 11:16 a.m. They didn't start the vehicle. And for the next 27 minutes, the couple argued on the front lawn before moving to the porch, where they continued fighting until 11:43 a.m. Rita then entered the driver's seat, sat there briefly, exited the car, and opened the rear door to check on Christina. She then closed the door, leaving her daughter inside. Christina had already been in the vehicle for over 2 hours at this point. Nearly an hour later, at 3:01 p.m, Rita attempted to retrieve cigarettes from the car but realised she was locked out. Christina had now been trapped in the sweltering vehicle for 3 hours and 47 minutes. Unable to access the car, Larry and Rita just sat on the porch swing. Their child had been suffering in the scorching heat for over 4 hours. The couple finally left and returned at 4:40 p.m. with a spare key, showing no sense of urgency. They sat on the car talking for an additional 4 minutes before even trying to unlock it. The spare key didn't work initially, so Larry and Rita wandered around the yard, embracing and just standing idly. It eventually took them until 4:58 p.m. to successfully unlock the car with the spare key. By the time they opened the door, Christina had been confined in the blistering vehicle for an agonising 5 hours and 42 minutes. And it was then that they discovered their daughter was dead. Panic set in as they frantically acted, unsure of what to do after finding her lifeless body. In the end, they proceeded to call 911. The first responders who arrived found Christina's body lying in the grass. Larry was outside on the phone with 911 while Rita remained inside the house. Attempts were made to revive Christina, but it was too late. The 13-year-old girl was pronounced dead at the scene. Nearly 6 hours had elapsed from the moment Larry and Rita placed Christina in the car to when she was removed. She'd already succumbed to the extreme conditions. In her final moments, Christina had vomited on herself. The severity of the heat inside the vehicle was undeniable. After their arrest and questioning at the police station, both Larry and Rita insisted that the car and air conditioning were running when they put Christina inside. However, even their own defence attorneys doubted their claims. Larry was granted a $50,000 bond, while Rita's was set at $100,000. They both posted bail and were able to resume their normal lives until the start of their trials in August 2023. As the trial commenced, disturbing evidence emerged, setting this case apart from other hot car deaths. On that fateful August day in South Carolina, outdoor temperatures soared to nearly 32 degrees C, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside the car, in the relentless sun without any shade, the temperature would have climbed to at least 54 degrees C, 129 degrees Fahrenheit. First responders found Christina completely soiled, as would be expected after such a prolonged ordeal. During the autopsy, the medical examiner discovered vomit in Christina's lungs, indicating she'd inhaled her own vomit as her body began to fail. They also determined that Christina was malnourished and had pre-existing infections due to poor hygiene. On September the 1st, 2023, the jury deliberated for a mere 2 hours before finding Larry and Rita guilty of murder. The judge sentenced Larry to 33 years for murder and an additional 20 years for great bodily harm, totaling 52 years in prison. Rita received a sentence of 37 years for murder, with an additional 20 years for great bodily harm, amounting to 56 years behind bars. The tragic and sadly very preventable death of Christina Pangalangan stands as a haunting reminder of the devastating consequences of neglect and the importance of vigilance in protecting the vulnerable. The unimaginable suffering endured by this young girl in her final hours is a sombre testament to the failures of those entrusted with the care. As society grapples with the aftermath of this horrific crime, questions arise about the systemic issues that allowed such a heinous act to occur and the measures needed to prevent similar tragedies in the future. The memory of Christina Pangalangan will forever serve as a stark reminder of the precious value of every child's life and the collective responsibility we bear in ensuring their safety and well-being.